All right, first off, I'd just like to thank everyone for having me here today. My name is Sasha. I work as a financial advisor at a local credit union. I'm very excited to be here. I'm going to be talking to everyone a little bit about financial planning and the importance of it. Just to give you a quick overview, we'll be talking about some of the problems that Canadians are facing today regarding finances and how through some pretty simple financial planning we can combat some of those issues. So bear with me. We'll also get a little bit deeper into a specific area of financial planning, which is establishing and achieving financial goals, which is very important. So just taking a look at some of Canada's problems that we're facing regarding finances, the first big one is that expenses just keep going up and up and up. Now that would be okay if the income level was matching it, but we start to see more of a spread, and what happens there is the consumer debt starts to grow. So who here knows what consumer debt is? Basically, debt is an instrument that allows you to buy things without actually having the money readily available. But the problem with debt is you end up having to incur more costs, because not only do you have to pay back what you borrowed, but there's something called interest, and you pay that on as a percentage of what you've borrowed. And that can quickly pile up and cause some problems. Another big struggle is we see fewer and fewer Canadians saving for retirement. So a recent stat actually showed that less than 50% of Canadians approaching retirement felt that they were going to be able to live comfortably in retirement. Most of them hadn't even started saving yet. So why is that an issue? Well, with an aging population, we have the biggest demographic right now is approaching retirement, and they're living longer and longer. It's because of technology and science. People are living well into their 80s, 90s, sometimes even over 100 years old. And if you consider the reliance on government benefits such as Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, this is a real burden on our whole society, because it's our taxpayers' dollars that go to paying those benefits. And the longer that you have someone living in retirement and using those benefits, it creates more of a burden on society. So we can see that Canada is going through a bit of a crisis right now. We have Canadian debt here. It's comparing since 1983. We can see it was floating around right around $5,000, and you can see it's gone up pretty significantly since then. We're over $20,000 in consumer debt per person as a country in 2019. So it's gone up quite a lot. And just comparing us to other countries, you can see it's not just a global thing happening, but you can see that Germany's actually managed to bring their debt to income ratio down. The United States has remained about the same, but Canada since 2004 has actually shot up to about 166%. So that means that every $1.66 that we have of debt, we're only earning $1. So it becomes very tough to pay off your debts. All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about the importance of financial planning. So financial planning it generates wealth. And what is wealth? It's investments, it's owning property, it's things that allow you to live a little bit more comfortably. So you have a better standard of living, and eventually with proper financial planning, you're able to achieve your financial goals, be it travel the world, etc., etc. Now we're going to dive into a little bit more depth in one particular area, which is financial goals. So you can get all this information on Get Smarter About Your Money, about money.ca. It's a government website, tons of fantastic information. So the first step to reaching your financial goal is setting one. Now it seems pretty straightforward, but you want to think about what your goal is. You want to be as specific as possible. So my goal is to buy this pair of jeans that's a little bit more expensive. And you have to think about how much it's going to cost you. So, it might be more obvious in some cases, like a pair of jeans probably has a price tag. But if it's something like a vacation or a trip, there might be a few more variables where you have to consider that. And then how long is it going to take you to reach it? So based on how much money you're able to save each month, you can allocate some of that to reaching your financial goals. We like to talk about using a SMART financial goal. So SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So it's very important. You want to be as specific as possible. You want to be able to measure your success. It has to be something that you can actually do, and you want to do it in a timely manner. So 1 to 5 years is usually a good timeline. The next step is figuring out how much money you make. A common word is income. So you probably heard that thrown around. The biggest one as you get older is going to be your employment income, what you make from your job. You might have a part-time job right now, even at McDonald's or Sport Check or something. But because you are full-time students, it's expected that you're not going to be working a tremendous amount, so your employment income won't be as high as it will be later on. But you also might receive an allowance or rely on your birthday money to help you buy things. And there might be some others in there as well. Next, we want to look at where our money's going. So this is our expenses, things like your cell phone bill, clothing, and a big one for millennials especially is eating out, food, right? So going to get that Big Mac at McDonald's, or it's something we call a discretionary expense. So it's something we have a little bit more flexibility to. Most of you probably live with your parents and have the ability to eat for free at home. So we would encourage you to do that as much as possible so you can watch those savings grow as much as possible. Now, understanding cash flow is simply taking your income and subtracting your expenses. Whatever you have left over, that's your extra cash at the end of the month. And we can use that to create a pre-authorized transfer into a savings account. That's probably your best way to save up for any financial goal. So you can talk to anyone at a local credit union or bank, and they can create an automatic transfer that goes out every month once you determine how much you are able to save. And that'll help you track your progress for reaching your financial goals. So just tying it all together here, recapping what we talked a little bit about, the importance of financial planning, right? So having that peace of mind is huge. We see a lot of young adults especially that don't feel that they have a good grasp on their finances. And it can be very scary to not know what you're doing. It'll help you control your future, and you'll eventually be able to reach your financial goals. I've also listed a few resources that you could definitely check out. There's local credit unions like where I work. They provide free advice. One of their mandates is spreading financial literacy to the community. So they're more than happy to answer any questions you have free of charge. There's also a great course that I would recommend after you graduate, which you can take at BCIT. It's Personal Financial Planning 1, which gives you an overview about a lot of personal financial planning for yourself, right? And it's a great course. I would highly recommend it. And the last one is Get Smarter About Money. I referenced it earlier. Tons of resources there. It can talk about lots of different aspects of finance if you're interested, and you can kind of just navigate as you please. All right, I'd love to field any questions that you guys have. I'll be sticking around for about 20 minutes. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for having me.